in what could be our most ill-thought-out digital segment ever, highly presumptuous, the way too early top 6 is here. It's mid-May.
It's just over, and here's next year's.
Next year's top 6, brought to you by Craig and Ross. Well, mainly Craig. Craig, we're going to predict.
So it was a great top 2 this year.
We haven't even opened the summer transfer window.
No, give it time. There's a great top 2 this year, really, in terms of that race, which went all the way, obviously. Some may have found the top 4 or the other 4 teams battling it out somewhat exciting. But I think the big question is, clearly, is can anyone punch a hole into that, top 6, top 4 out of the ordinary? Or are we going to see the status quo, particularly with the top 2?
I want to see which of these 4 you've
Well,
got
do you
in the
know,
top 6.
well, yeah, I mean, I think we could talk about the obvious at the moment. I'll get to the issues there. Particularly these 2 teams here, Wolves and Leicester. Not so much Everton. I think Everton are going to lose a couple of players, and they've had a bit of a scattergun approach. Marco Silva, definitely for me, another season. West Ham have got a good manager in Pellegrini. But Wolves could spend money and had a great season. They've got a good squad. They could spend. And I don't always like the rhetoric from Brendan Rodgers, because I think sometimes it's over the top. But he's a good coach. He's got a nice style. And I think they could surprise next year. However, there's not one... I mean, they're not getting in the top 6. Or they're not getting in the top 4.
There was a big old
One
gap.
of them might squeeze in the 5th or 6th Europa League spot.
Right.
Because of the problems for, and I'll get to that, Chelsea and Man United. Mm-hmm. Possibly.
A summer that won't fix them, you think? Those problems?
Yes. Well, Court of Arbitration for Sport, decision still has to be made. But up until now...
They've had good luck there before, actually.
No, well, yeah, so have a few people. No transfers coming in, apart from Pulisic, which is already done. Hazard's going to go. That's been muted, but he's going to go. And United are a shambles. They're just an absolute shambles. And they've got a manager who hasn't got the resume to be turning this around. I mean, it's just crazy. So I think those 2 are gullible for a really bad season and been eaten up by possibly one of these.
Are you going to be bold enough to predict it?
Predict what?
That one of these...
Where's number 1?
No, we're going to number 1. We'll start with number 6, though. This is the toughie for you.
Oh, right.
Are you happy with that? You want to postpone it? We can start with number 1. There you go.
Yeah, well, let's work our way down. Right.
Magic of TV.
I think it could be a treble for them of titles. 100 points, was it 100 points plus? And then 97?
98.
98.
Yeah.
97 for Liverpool. So it's just catch up upon catch up. So I think we could see a 3rd title in a row.
Remember, VAR next year, is that going to take some of these points away?
Did it take any away this year?
No, but...
No, with
some offside goals.
Well, the old watch helped out this year, didn't it, for the goal line? So I think there'll be a status quo here.
All right.
It might swing depending on what Liverpool do, and he has been backed and they're a great side, and it might only be a couple of signings from toppling Man City. I hope we see the same again. But at the moment, as it stands, in the very early, over the top, next year's top 6, because we don't know what's happening, Man City and Liverpool are still top of the tree.
All
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Or do you see Liverpool switching? Depending on what happens, because we've preempted this, clearly.
Yeah. As things stand right now, no.
Right.
And I think the gap would be wider, but that's just me.
You think the gap might be wider? Because that would be difficult for them to cling on.
Yes.
These are the best. This is the best. I think this is the best club squad in world football. It hasn't won the Champions League because it made mistakes. But if you take a squad of players, I think it's the most talented across the... I mean, Barcelona have got a talented 11, Juventus have got a talented team, but I think these have got the most talented.
But if Liverpool have a great summer,
yes,
they could be exceptional next year.
Well, I thought they were exceptional this year. Just they were a little bit exceptionally better. And Pep said that, look, Liverpool were great and Klopp's a great manager. So I think that's kind of where we are. Underneath is where the issues start.
All right.
What do you think?
Well, I personally would pick Tottenham as getting closer to them than this year.
Right.
Because I think they're going to do something. I think the stadium will help them.
Well, you hit Tottenham for me.
All right.
This is how this works.
You're happy with that?
See, that's technology. It's amazing that, isn't it?
Okay.
The reason again, this is hedging on Pochettino. He's kind of said if we win the Champions League and it's a big if against Liverpool, I might walk. That's the old Daniel Levy pressure talk, isn't it? Give me money, I need money. If he walks, players will go. You know, he'll take them with him, and then it's problems. But looking on the positive, he stays. New stadium, they spend more than, well, listen, me and you could give him some change and he'd spend more than last year. Spend sensible money, add to what he's got. They could close that gap. But although Chelsea finished above them this year, they're a much better side than Chelsea.
Yeah.
Just the legs ran out at the end, didn't they? They were concentrating on other things.
So 3 teams who have clearly shown some vulnerability.
Right.
Chelsea had a good end in the end in the face of everyone else failing. But who do you see coming forward?
I'll tell you where I'm going with this. And I'm going to go for second season. Better signings, continuity, sorting out the away form. Yes, I'm going to go for Arsenal. Particularly because I didn't think they had a particularly good transfer window. He was just in the door. They're in the Europa League final. We don't know what's going to happen there. But they've got, it's 50-50 because neither of them are a great side. And I think they'll do better in the transfer window next year. On top of that, the issues with United and Chelsea. I don't think, Chelsea with no signings apart from Pulisic. The same manager who's kind of stubborn in his ways annoyed Hazard, and everybody a year older like Pedro and don't know what happens with Higuain, Giroud. What they're going to do. How they can't achieve kind of how they've fallen into what they have this year. That's why I'm going for Arsenal. But I don't think either of those will challenge. Maybe depending on the transfer window.
Okay, so who is your 5th pick then? You said that these guys, well, one of them may pop out and challenge, but out of these 2, if you were picking at this moment, I'm hearing from you, Chelsea.
What, out of Chelsea and Man United?
Yeah. Or is there someone else who you think might even eclipse and get into 5th place out of these?
Do you know, I don't. I think I'm going to stick my neck out here and say Leicester City might, under Brendan Rodgers, play some great football. Not going to win the league again, clearly, that was a story. They might, if they do have bad seasons, slip into...
Where do you want to see them strengthen to do that?
Somebody to help Vardy. Somebody to help there. Obviously, Maddison's been good. Albrighton can't keep doing it. I'm trying to think now. Has Wes Morgan been playing much? It might need to strengthen in the
depth, isn't it?
It's a bit depth.
Yeah.
It's a bit depth. They've got good footballers, big and strong. A lot of them are a bit experienced, maybe a bit younger players. Rodgers likes to play nice football, get the full-backs attacking. Could have a great season next year. This is a kind of wayward left field possibility. It's not any anti-Man United and Chelsea. It's just the fact that they're a shambles. They can't sign anybody. And I'm not sure about Everton and West Ham. Wolves, could be them and Wolves.
All right. But you've got
struggling for 5th now.
You are struggling, okay.
I'm going to say, if the transfer ban holds up, I'm going to say Man United for 5th. If Chelsea's transfer ban holds, I think it could be a really tough season for Chelsea next year if the Court of Arbitration for Sport say, no, it is where it is, you're done, this is what you got. I think it's going to be a struggle for them. If that happens, if it doesn't happen, this would all change. Don't see much better for them. Going to have to pay way over the odds to get people in. Even when they do, how many they're going to be able to bring in, because it needs a complete overhaul. And I think they could just be an exciting team to watch next year. Of course, that probably will change down the bottom depending on what happens. But I think Leicester fans can be quite excited with the appointment of Brendan Rodgers. And of course, it depends what they do in the transfer window. All
right, so there's a lot of things to happen according for this theory to come off. But in the possibly most previous segment we've ever done, this is Craig's...
So just in case you thought I'd Liverpool down to win the league, I don't.
Potential top 6 as Craig sees it. There we go.
Man City to win again.
You're still not sure, are you?
No.